You have probably heard it already: if you pick your baby up too fast, you'll spoil them for good. But what if your quick response is not creating dependence at all? What if it's building security instead inside them? The crying feels loud, but the real message is quiet. Can I count on you when life hurts suddenly here? Parents see fussiness, clinginess, bedtime battles, and short naps, then wonder why everything suddenly feels so emotionally intense lately again. Because your baby is not only having moments, they are forming expectations about comfort, trust, closeness, and emotional safety daily. Every fast, loving response becomes a tiny lesson. Distress can end in connection instead of lonely confusion and panic today. And if that sounds dramatic, watch your baby after a startle. They search for you before anything else first instantly. That is not manipulation. It is attachment in real time, a nervous system asking, where is my safe place now? Secure attachment does not mean a baby never cries. It means they learn crying does not equal abandonment either inside. That's the part people miss. Responding quickly does not spoil a baby. It teaches the baby what support feels like. Babies are born unfinished emotionally. They cannot calm themselves the way an adult eventually can after practice and growth later. First, they borrow regulation from you. Your heartbeat, voice, pace, arms, face, and breathing become their first calming tools daily. So when you pick them up fast, you are not rewarding weakness. You are lending stability before panic spreads further. Think about the cry that changes the second you walk, and hunger may remain, but fear instantly drops first there. Your baby was not only asking for milk, sleep, or a diaper, they were asking for orientation too. Then again, I'm uncomfortable, where are you? Does someone come when my body feels wrong and my world suddenly gets too big? That question shows up everywhere: during feedings in the stroller, after naps at bedtime, after noisy errands, and lonely car seats. The learning is constant. Stress signal response recovery, repeated enough times, becomes your baby's first map of relationships later there. If help comes consistently, the world starts feeling organized. If help feels random, distress can feel bigger and longer inside. That is why secure attachment is built through ordinary moments, not grand gestures, just enough times being found again quickly. A newborn cannot think mom is busy or dad needs a minute. They only feel rising stress in waves physically. Their body gets loud, muscles tighten, heartbeat climbs, cortisol can rise, and everything in them starts recruiting help fast. So when your response is warm and steady, the lesson lands underneath. Language: hard feelings do not mean aloneness here. Even if the crying continues for a moment, your presence still changes the meaning of that moment completely for them. Without support, distress can feel endless. With support, distress becomes something survivable, and that difference changes expectations deeply later. This is why waiting on purpose can teach something too. Sometimes it teaches intensity is required before comfort arrives there. Cry harder, stay activated, escalate faster, maybe. Then someone will notice. Some babies learn that pattern by accident early. Quick responses usually do the opposite. They lower panic before panic has time to become the whole story there inside. That's why some babies soften the second they hear your voice, even before feeding starts or rocking begins nearby gently. Your approach already began the repair, because familiar presence tells the brain help is here. You do not face this alone. Bedtime shows this clearly. A baby wakes between sleep cycles, confused, vulnerable, and suddenly unsure what still feels safe. If your touch, voice, or predictable routine arrives quickly, the brain learns nighttime does not cancel connection after all. That matters because darkness reduces orientation. Separation feels sharper, and tired brains handle stress less smoothly than daytime brains. So a fast bedtime response is not weakness. It is information. Even in the dark, support remains available tonight. Over time, that predictability means less emergency scanning, less frantic arousal, and more confidence of moving back towards sleep again. Some parents notice their baby arches away while being soothed and assume rejection or stubbornness is starting early. Often it is sensory overload. The baby wants comfort, but also needs less input at the same time. A quick response helps you see that nuance may be dimmer, lights slower, rocking softer voices, or stillness work better. So responsiveness is not only speed, is joining the moment soon enough to read it accurately first. The earlier you arrive emotionally, the more small clues stay visible before the whole meltdown gets louder fast. You catch the yawn before the scream, the turned head before sobbing, the stiff body before full protest begins. That changes parenting from constant firefighting into pattern recognition. Suddenly your baby looks less random and more readable daily. Eye contact is another moment parents notice without always decoding. Your baby may lock onto your face intensely. In a real way, your face helps organize experience. Expression tells the baby whether this moment feels manageable now. Soft eyes and a calm mouth can deliver emotional instruction before words ever mean anything to your baby yet. This is part of serve and return. Your baby coos, squirms, startles, fusses, looks away, and you answer. I signal someone notices. Something happens. That rhythm becomes the foundation for communication long before actual words arrive. Feeding gives another perfect example. Your baby may root frantically, then cry harder while you position or prepare milk. It can look like impatience, but often it is the gap between need and relief feeling physically overwhelming instead. Even your voice can help bridge that gap. I'm here. I know it's coming. You're safe with me. Because babies remember patterns in the body. Need plus panic feels different than need plus reassurance while waiting. The same hidden learning appears with gas reflux, teething, or those impossible overtired evenings. Your baby learns whether pain includes companionship. You cannot always remove the discomfort instantly, but you can shape the emotional container around it every time. Pain alone feels different than pain supported. That is why babies sometimes want holding after every basic need is checked. They are not always asking for solution. They are often asking for regulation while the body passes through discomfort. Parents especially notice this after busy days when clinginess suddenly appears and the question becomes, why is tonight harder? Usually the day explains it. More noise, more faces, missed naps, long errands, extra light, extra movement, less recovery. Adults call that a full day. Babies call it a lot. An overloaded system start behaving less even. More fussing, more grabbing, more crying, more difficulty settling does not mean you broke something. It means integration is needed. Quick comfort after overstimulation teaches a beautiful lesson. Big experiences can be digested with someone, not just endured alone. That's why some babies melt down right after getting home. They finally reach the place where bracing can stop. If your baby falls apart in your arms, that may actually be trust, safety made, releasing possible at last. Clinginess works similarly when babies suddenly need constant holding. Parents fear they created dependence when often they created refuge. Attachment is not a trap. Closeness is how babies refuel during sickness, teething, leaps, social uncertainty, and seasons of rapid change. A baby tracking you across the room is not manipulating you. They are checking whether their secure base remains. When you respond quickly during clingy phases, your baby learns separation does not erase connection. People return reliably. That lesson becomes especially important around crawling, standing, babbling, stranger wariness, and object permanence when awareness of distance grows. The world suddenly expands, and awareness of losing you expands too, so closeness can feel urgently important again. Seen that way, clinginess is not regression. It is growing awareness, asking for help, integrating a bigger world safely. Responding quickly says your bigger feelings are not too much for me. Explore. Then come back and refill. That is exactly how secure attachment supports independence later. Dependable comfort does not block exploration. It powers exploration forward. Healthy independence does not start with getting used to being alone. It starts with trusted connection first instead. A securely attached baby is not learning, I never need anyone. They are learning support exists when needed most. That same truth explains why routines matter so much. Routines are not only practical, they are emotional forecasting tools. Bath pajamas, dim lights, feeding song, cuddle, repeated sequences tell the brain what comes next before words ever can. When quick responsiveness lives inside familiar routines, immediate comfort and expected structure reinforce each other beautifully for babies. That combination can change evenings, not by making babies robotic, but by reducing surprises their bodies must manage nightly. And when routines break because real life always breaks them, your responsive presence becomes the portable part of predictability. Maybe the nap ran late, maybe grandparents visited, maybe dinner stretched. Your quick, calm response still says, safety stayed here. There's also a hidden lesson in your tone. Babies do not understand every word, but they read nervous systems. If your voice spikes and your hands rush, your baby often absorbs the urgency before absorbing the reassurance underneath. So responding quickly works best when fast does not feel frantic. Sometimes your exhale matters before your words do. This is co-regulation in ordinary life. Your steadier system helps organize your baby's less mature one gently first today. Babies borrow rhythm before reason, breathing, pace, muscle tone, voice, melody, movement pattern all become information their bodies use later. So when you sway, slowly soften your shoulders and whisper low, you are offering a nervous system template directly. That template gets repeated during rocking diaper changes, feeding in those middle of the night moments when everyone feels drained. Being helped feels like someone joined the feeling, not just the task, and that difference enters relational memory early. This matters if you worry you are too tired to do everything perfectly, because perfection was never the assignment. Babies do not need flawless calm. They need enough repair, enough responsiveness, enough moments where distress meets understanding consistently. You will miss cues sometimes. You will be slower. Sometimes you will misread tiredness, hunger, or overload completely. What teaches safety is not never getting it wrong. It is the pattern that your baby gets found again. Even repair teaches something when you realize the need and adjust. Your baby learns relationships can recover after confusion. You may even notice your baby cries harder once you pick them up and wonder whether comfort failed somehow. Sometimes being held releases tension. Your baby finally feels safe enough to fully feel what was already building inside. So more crying in your arms does not necessarily mean you made things worse. It may mean collapse became possible. Adults do versions of this too. We hold it together, then cry when someone trustworthy quietly asks if we're okay. Another moment parents misread is when a baby turns away during play and looks suddenly done with everything. Often that turn away is smart self-protection. Babies look away to lower input, process information, and avoid overload. If you respond by pausing instead of pushing more stimulation, your baby learns early boundaries can actually work here. That lesson is huge. My signals change what happens. I do not need to escalate for limits to matter. The same responsiveness applies to smiles. When your baby smiles and you smile back, that is not only cute. It is emotional mirroring. Your baby sees inner delight reflected outside, which helps feelings become more organized and familiar. When you answer joy quickly, not just distress, your baby learns another truth. Good feelings can be shared too safely. So responsiveness is not crisis management only. It also amplifies wonder, playfulness, curiosity, and tiny moments of social triumph. Babies point with their eyes before their fingers. They lean their faces toward light, sound, movement, novelty, and interest. When you notice and join that attention, you send a powerful message. What interests you matters to me too. Shared attention becomes groundwork for language learning and confidence, not because you performed lessons, but because you were available there. Availability is one of the most misunderstood parenting strengths. It does not mean constant entertainment. It means emotional reachability. Your baby does not need you performing all day. They need to experience you as findable when needed most. Findable when scared, findable when excited, findable when confused, findable when their body feels too loud or tired inside. This is why babies often protest hardest with the parent they trust most. Safe arms are where truth spills out. So, if your baby unravels the moment you take him back from someone else, do not assume failure first. It may mean your presence signaled enough safety for their system to finally stop holding everything together anymore there. That understanding can change resentment into tenderness. Instead of, "Why are you doing this?" it becomes, "Oh, you're landing." And when parents see landing instead of misbehavior, their own bodies usually soften, and softer bodies often settle babies faster. Babies are constantly studying contingency. When I feel big, what happens next? More chaos or organized help from someone? Organized help can look surprisingly simple. A hand on the chest, one repeated phrase, dimmer lights, slower transitions home. The power's not expensive gear or perfect timing. It is responsiveness becoming recognizable, repeatable, and emotionally believable over time. Even one familiar phrase like, "I've got you," gathers meaning. Your baby starts linking those sounds with downshifting physically. Those body memories shape future reactions. Babies who expect support often reach for connection sooner and spiral less intensely. Not because they never struggle, but because struggle has a pathway. Distress leads somewhere and someone helps when needed. That pathway matters during developmental storms, sleep regressions, growth spurts, teething, travel, illness, and milestone bursts all shake behavior. When your baby suddenly seems fussier, wakeful, clingier, or harder to settle, it does not automatically mean bad habits. Sometimes nothing went wrong at all. Your baby may simply need extra regulation while the brain and body reorganize. Quick response during those seasons teaches that change does not cancel security. Strange days still contain dependable love nearby. Emotional safety is not abstract. A safe baby still cries, still struggles, still has hard nights, but not alone. Safety means the struggle happens inside a relationship that helps make sense of it and survive it together. That changes how long stress lasts, how strongly fear pairs with ordinary discomfort, and what babies expect next time. It also changes you when crying stops meaning manipulation. Your own body often leaves battle mode and enters curiosity. You become more observant, less insulted by need, less afraid of dependence, and more able to read patterns kindly. That calmer mindset protects your confidence because parenting gets lighter when behavior sounds like communication instead of opposition at home. The baby who only naps on you may be saying, "My system settles through contact right now, please stay." The baby who sobs during handoffs may be saying, "I have not bridged separation, yet help me cross it." The baby who fusses after smiling at everyone may be saying, "That was exciting, and now my senses are full already." The baby who cries harder when you arrive may be saying, "I held together until my safe place appeared." Different surface behaviors often hide the same deep question: will my feelings be met by someone who stays close? And every time your answer is quick, warm, and steady, the lesson deepens. Yes, your inner world matters here. That lesson does not make a baby fragile. It builds the expectation that support exists, which strengthens resilience later. Real resilience is not never needing comfort. It is knowing discomfort can be faced, survived, and integrated with help. So if you worry that responding fast is somehow too much, remember what your baby is actually learning now. They are learning signals have meaning. Bodies can calm, fear can shrink, and relationships can become places to land. They are learning nighttime does not erase connection. Overwhelm can be shared, and joy grows when someone joins it. They are learning frustration is survivable. Waiting can eventually be learned, and closeness is not something earned first. Most of all, they are learning who they are in moments of need. Not too much, not alone, not burdensome. That may be one of the quietest, strongest gifts you can give during the first year and every year after. Not perfection, not instant answers every single time, just a pattern of noticing, returning, and helping the body settle again. Because long before your baby understands rules, routines, explanations, or consequences, they understand your response and the feeling underneath. And when that response says, "I'm here," your baby carries that feeling into sleep, play, growth, and later independence. So the next time you move quickly toward your baby, do not spoil your trust being built instead. In that ordinary, exhausted, loving response, your baby learns a lifelong truth: big feelings can be met safely.